All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little San Francisco Giant video. It is time for the Giants to say goodbye to Yaz and add another outfielder. We'll discuss it coming up next. But first, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. This video also brought to you by Sharp Corners Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California on the Monterey Peninsula. Thanks to Anthony Catania. He's at 831-521-5264. He's a great follow on Instagram at Sharp Corners 831 on the gram. And this video is sponsored by LearnKeys Upskill Academy, an online learning platform designed to get you job ready in 6 months or less. You see their name on the screen, whether you're interested in IT, cybersecurity, marketing. It could be any number of high-demand fields. They offer over 30 certification programs to help you take that next step in your professional career. They've been in business for almost 4 decades. They've helped over 200,000 students along the way, and they place about 100 students every month in well-paying jobs. So thanks to LearnKey Upskill Academy for sponsoring the Krug Show, and the links are in the description for all of our sponsors. All right, the Giants need to move on from Yaz, and go in a different direction. You know, I know it's a tough one for Giants fans, but you know the Giants said, "Hey, look, we're all in. We're going for Rafael Devers," and yet it's pretty obvious they need another bat in their outfield. They're not scoring enough runs. You have Mike Yastrzemski at times hitting fourth in your lineup. He's not a fourth-place hitter. He's a fan favorite. He's a grinder. He's a glue guy in the clubhouse. But, man, if the Giants really want to be legitimate contenders, I think they got to move off of Yaz. They're off to a good start. They're hanging with the Dodgers, but they've got a good rotation. They've got an outstanding bullpen. They just don't have enough offense. And they really what they need is, where are you going to get this offense? You're not getting it from third. You know, you got Chapman there. Then you got Koss. You got Schmidt. You're not getting it from short. Willie Adames is there. He ain't going anywhere. You're not getting it from second because, you know, I mean, Schmidt's going to be there eventually, and that's probably the best you can do. At first, you have Devers. You have Wilmer Flores. You know, you're probably not going to get any more offense out of that. Catcher, you know, you're going with Bailey, and Bailey's just not much of a hitter. So, really, if you're going to add any offense, it has to come in the outfield. And you look at Yaz, he's 33 years old. He's on an expiring deal. You know, if the Giants tender him a contract next year, he's probably going to be looking to get right around $9 or $10 million. You know, he's not really hitting. Hit 220 the last couple of years, hitting 245 with declining power. His range is declining. And you've got Elliot Ramos has emerged as an all-star. You've got Jung-Hoo Lee, who's slumping, but he's your everyday center fielder. So, and you need his defense. And you got guys like Luis Matos and Marco Luciano, who are in the minor leagues. I mean, it's time to promote a guy like Matos or Luciano and see what they got, and find out if these guys can hit at the major league level. So, you know, there are other teams that would take Yaz. The Mets have holes in their outfield. They could benefit from a player like Yaz. He can play all 3 outfield spots. He can be a fourth outfielder. You know, he could be a backup for Nemo or Soto. And for the Mets, who need stability in left field, Yaz makes perfect sense. For the Giants, you know, flipping him now brings back maybe a prospect, maybe a bullpen arm, and clears payroll flexibility for another move, you know, potentially a power bat or a veteran starter. And, you know, I know letting go of Yaz is never an easy thing. He's a fan favorite. You know, he's one of the most identifiable guys in the team. He's one of the faces of the franchise, sadly enough. And, you know, he's very popular with the broadcasters. He's very popular with the players. But, man, this is a new era under Buster Posey, and it's no more sacred cows. You know, they had to move off of Lamont Wade, and they have to move off of Yaz. You know, it's like He was a nice find, right? They found him in the Orioles AAA system, just wallowing away at AAA, and they brought him to the big leagues, and he gave him a couple nice years. But you're going to keep running out a veteran like that instead of Luis Matos, really? Instead of Marco Luciano, instead of making a trade and adding another piece to the puzzle. So I personally, I think this is the direction. This is Yaz's time should be nearing its end. And you say, okay, well, who's out there? What can the Giants get? Ideally, you want, a right-handed hitting outfielder. And there's some teams. I mean, look at the teams out there that are out of it. Baltimore is going nowhere. They're last place. They've got Ramon Laureano. Laureano's having a good year. He's hitting .273 with 10 home runs. He's got almost a .350 on base percentage. Obviously Melvin has familiarity with him from the days in Oakland. And, Baltimore is last place, and they're not going anywhere. So they also have, Tyler O'Neill. They have Ryan O'Hearn. They have Zach Eflin. They've got other guys, Sam Basallo, if you're looking for an offensive catcher in the minor leagues. But the Orioles have in Ramon Laureano an outfielder who would be much better than Yaz. So get rid of Yaz and add a player like Ramon Laureano, and let's get down the road. You're just going to sit there with an offense that cannot score 4 runs. The Giants have played a ton of one-run games. The Giants are 19-16 in one-run games. That's right. They've played 35 one-run games. The Giants have already lost 8 times this year by shutout, and they've lost 7 times this year 1-0. 7 times. We're not even at July 1st yet, and the Giants have lost 7 games 1-0. 1-0. You lose 1-0, your pitching has done the job. Your offense is not done the job. To lose 7 games like that, it's just way too many. It's time to make a move. All right, so if it's not Baltimore, how about the Chi Sox? They have Andrew Benintendi. Benintendi's got 10 home runs, hitting .233. He's a left-handed hitter. They also have Luis Robert, who's only hitting .185, but he's got 8 home runs. He's only 27. He's a big, powerful right-handed hitter. Either one of those guys, the White Sox are going nowhere. They're last place. Adding Benintendi, Benny Biceps, or Luis Robert would be absolutely huge. All right, how about the A's? They're in last place. They have Luis Urias at second, who could hit. They also have Brent Rooker, who the Giants could trade for. That they would be a fit. How about the Pittsburgh Pirates? The Pittsburgh Pirates have Brian Reynolds. He's hitting .230 with 10 home runs, the former Giant prospect. They have Tommy Pham, who's hitting .230. And then they have other guys as well. David Bednar, if you're looking for a bullpen arm. Andrew Heaney, if you're looking for a starting pitcher. According to what I'm reading, the Pirates are getting ready to maybe trade O'Neill Cruz. Now, I know he strikes out a ton. He's on pace to strike out over 200 times. But, man, if you're the Giants, I would definitely trade some prospects to the Pirates for O'Neill Cruz. I mean, this guy's got MVP-type potential. Is he raw? Yeah. Is he going to strike out a lot right now? Yeah. But he's fun as hell to watch. He's got the tools. He's got maybe the greatest tools of any player in the game right now. When you look at the power, the speed, the arm strength. I saw him throw a guy out from center field. He's got one of the greatest throwing arms I've ever seen. O'Neill Cruz. Now, he would strike out a ton, and the Giants don't need another guy who could strike out a ton. But I'll take O'Neill Cruz right now, and Andrew Heaney and David Bednar and Brian Reynolds. So the Pirates are a team the Giants ought to be calling. And Colorado, well, they got a closer in Seth Halverson. They also have an infielder in Ryan McMahon. Those teams are out of it. Colorado, Pittsburgh, the A's, the Chi Sox, the Orioles. Those are last-place teams. So what the Giants need to do is they need to clear out some space for Luis Matos, get him back up here, play him every day. See if you can get him going. If not him, then Marco Luciano. If not Luciano, then trade for somebody. But to keep running 33-year-old Yaz out there when he doesn't hit, he strikes out too much, he's playing a corner outfield position, he's not giving you a ton, it just doesn't make any sense anymore. And if you could trade for a Brian Reynolds, If you could trade for a Luis Robert, if you could trade for a Ramon Laureano, you're trading for a bat that could potentially help you score 4 runs a game. If you want to go to the playoffs, the Giants have enough pitching. Giants have enough bullpen. Giants don't have enough offense. They're going to have to score 4 runs a game to get to the playoffs. So Ramon Laureano and Ryan O'Hearn from Baltimore would be great. Andrew Benintendi and Luis Robert from the Chi Sox would be great. Brent Rooker from the A's would be great. O'Neill Cruz, Tommy Pham, Brian Reynolds, Andrew Heaney, David Bednar, from the Pirates, any of those guys would be really useful. So there are deals out there to be made. And if I'm the Giants, I'm doing it. And I'm saying goodbye to Yaz. You said goodbye to Lamont Wade, and, you brought in Devers, and you still need more offense. It's really, really obvious at this point they need more offense. So Ramon Laureano would help. Benintendi would help. Brian Reynolds would help. Brent Rooker would help. The Giants need more offense, and it's probably time for them to move off of Yaz and give that position to Luis Matos or Marco Luciano. It makes more sense to invest ABs in Luciano or Matos or a young outfielder in trade than it makes sense to keep running 33-year-old Mike Yastrzemski out there, hoping, I don't know, that he's going to play some good D, that he's going to run into one. To me, it just seems like a poor fit. The Giants have pitching. The Giants need offense. And they're probably going to have to sacrifice one of their outfielders to get offense. And to me, Yaz is that guy. Nobody's going to take Jung-Hoo Lee. Nobody's taking that contract. You're paying him $19 million a year for the next 4 years after this year. He's going nowhere. And you don't have lots of options as far as where you can add offense. The outfield is the one spot you might be able to add some offense, and moving off of Yaz and either going to a Matos or a Luciano or making a trade for another outfield bat is probably the direction I would go. All right, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. Thanks to LearnKey Upskill Academy for sponsoring this video. Thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles as well. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.